range test on the 110 wind wheels today on the Lycaon Swift belt. I'm expecting to see similar range to the 105 Cloud, so that's what I'm most interested about. Cracking along in high gear today. It goes about 41, maxes out at. We'll take a little bit of a different route today because we've had some crazy weather on the Sunshine Coast in southeast Queensland down into northern New South Wales, and seems like it might not be over yet. So glad to get a bit of a break in the weather to get out. Been itching for that, and hopefully this will be the last video that I'm yelling at you. I've got a new Rode wireless Go on the way, so hopefully I don't have to strain so much to get my voice across, which will be a relief for everyone involved. As usual, we've got the remote tracking. It's at 1.6 Ks right now, and we've got Relive on in the background. I've been finding with this board, it's tracking really accurate between them both. Not much between them at all, so it's good to see that. We'll be checking in as each bar drops. Will we get any vibrations on the remote? I expect to get about 29-30 Ks today, and I'll use this range test as a bit of a review as well, since by the end of this I would have done about 60 Ks on these wheels. I think they've grown on me a bit since the first impressions video I did. So yeah, we'll see how I feel about that after finishing this range test, and I'll let you know my thoughts at the end in a bit more detail. Just dropped our first bar here at 6 kilometers on the dot. We drove pretty hard through there at about 40-41 Ks the whole way through, max speed, because this is such a long road next to the highway here. And look at that colour of that water, it's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Usually it's a beautiful blue, but with all the flooding and the runoff, it's a terrible colour. And that road down there, if you can see that, all underwater the other day. So shows how much it came up. Mud on the new kicks, not great. That's why I was avoiding the some of these covered walkways, because the sun hasn't got to the water yet and dried off all that flood water. So that's why I'm taking the different route today. So it's not going to be an exact comparison for the range test with the other wheels I've tested, but I'm quickly learning in e-skate reviews and videos. It never ends up perfect, so you just got to make the most of what you can do on the day and get out there when the weather's beautiful and have a go. 2 bars down at 10.5 kilometers. That's on the back of some hard riding, so you'll see that on Relive. So I think we'll stretch it out a little bit more now that we can't go such a consistently high speed along the rest of these roads. We'll see. A little bit of vibration, but yeah, absorbs most of it. Just dropped down another bar at 14.2 k's, showing up as here. I'm not too much in the loop of manufacturing and whatnot, but I think what B-Sport needs to do with these wheels is undercut cloud wheels by a decent margin to get these wheels on more boards and get more people talking about them and trying them, and even seeing if they can do partnerships with other manufacturers so they offer them on their boards as well. But I think at 159 US, with not too much hype and talk about them, they're just not going to sell enough of these wheels to get them out there. So I'm really enjoying them. I'm having a great time on them, but I couldn't steer someone towards them over the cloud wheels. And even if you don't like the cloud wheels, you'll almost get your money back selling them second hand to someone anyway. But if people don't know what wind wheels are, they're not going to buy them off you. Get you through that loose gravel, no problem at all. Great to see. We got our first vibration on the controller. I missed what it said, I assume 25%. But we're at 18.1 k's and still showing 2 bar at the moment, so I think it'll take a little bit more to kill it yet. Alright, we dropped down to 1 bar, we're at 19.6 kilometers. So I guess we got about another 5 k's to go. I think that's doing fairly decent based on how we've ridden today. I think the average speed on this ride will look to be more than what we did on the cloud wheels, but I think we still averaged 26, 28 kilometers an hour on the cloud wheels and managed to get about 29 k's. So that was pretty crazy, especially comparing to the 90mm wheels that come standard on this. For the extra comfort you get on the clouds or these 110 winds, certainly I think yeah, it's worth the upgrade over the 90mm wheels. Some people prefer the 90mm wheels, and I have to say they're pretty good, the urethanes that come on this. Not perfect, but certainly not the worst standard wheels you can get. We're still getting the same top speed by the look on high, but we are losing a little bit of that bite, that torque. So we'll keep an eye on how that goes. It's pretty normal when you get down to this 1 bar region, going on to the 0 bars, that you do lose a little bit of that torque and you get a little bit of sag, but it's certainly not bad, and it's still perfectly fine for getting about as well. I think we'll start heading back now. I've ridden this board enough to know when we're getting close to that time. Got nearly 250 k's on this board now, so I'll maybe have to do a 250k review of the Swift and talk about any issues I've had. As you can see, I'm riding it a ton, so there's no glaring issues with it, and it still goes perfectly fine. We're certainly not getting to the high speed or the high gear cap of 41. It's maxing out about 34 now. Still perfectly usable, but I wouldn't be weaving in and out of traffic with the lack of torque right now and the lack of top speed. Just got up that little hill there, didn't cut out, which is good. I have noticed we've just dropped to 0 bars. We're at 22.7 kilometers. We're not far off the end. Top speed on high right now, 18 kilometers. So definitely lost that kick for sure. Alright, that brings us to the end of the range test for the 110 Clouds. On our remote, we've got 0 bars and 23.1 kilometers. We'll check Relive, and we've got 23.5 kilometers on Relive. I'll show you that. So my thoughts, not too bad. Let me check what the average speed was for this ride, because as I've said this whole time, we've been riding it really hard. Just based on the time, that ride was 16 minutes less than when I did the Cloud wheels. So I do think our average speed will be a lot quicker. Let me just check that now. Yeah, so the average speed, 28.9 k's, and we did drop off at the end there in terms of the average speed as well. So we really went pretty hard on that. So I do think they probably have a couple of k's less in them than the Cloud wheels. They are a bit heavier. If you did see my last video where I did a little bit of a comparison between the two of them. I really enjoy the wheels. I was caught in two minds of whether to post that first impressions video, because I felt like I came across a little bit negative on them just in my comparison to the Cloud wheels, but that was my raw impressions and initial impressions straight away, so that's what you get. I do prefer the Cloud wheels still, but only slightly. These are still fantastic. They're better wheels than the original for sure. As I did discuss on the ride, I do think if they're going to be successful, Beast Board do need to push those in terms of marketing, put them on a few more boards, give a few of them away to some other YouTubers and stuff like that, and get people's impressions out there. They do take a little while to wear in, so I have done about 60 k's on them now, and yeah, I've been having a blast. So they're not quite as soft and gummy as the Cloud wheels. That's a good or bad thing depending on your style. They're really safe, really stable. I do feel the bumps, harder bumps on them a bit more than Cloud wheels. I feel like they absorb a little bit less. In wet terrain, I haven't ridden a whole lot of wet terrain, but I certainly won't touch any wet ground in my Cloud wheels, because I came off early on in the piece on those. So I do think they're a little bit better in wet conditions than the Cloud wheels, but I do think the compound is just slightly too plasticky. I'm a little bit concerned how they'll wear, but yeah, time will tell. If you have any questions about them or want to see anything else on those wheels, give me a bell on YouTube, drop a comment, or hit me up on my Instagram, which I just opened. Yeah, if you like the video, please support me by giving a like. If you haven't subscribed already, that'll be great to support the channel. And yeah, please leave a comment. I'd love to interact with you and have a chat. Cheers, bye.